Don't judge, ladies. Go. I said don't judge. Why are you laughing for?
I'm just laughing.
I said don't. Ladies?
Come on, just pick up that one.
Do that real quick. Come on, let's go.
You know, Mr. Dinkies. Count backwards, Daryl. Count backwards from 10. 10, 9, Rita, Stormy, Imogene, Ivy, Beverly. Who am I forgetting about, babe? Ivy, Rita. Rita's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
We are standing here inside the front yard of the sanctuary here in the beautiful town of Plum Grove, Texas, where this has been the brand that our family has used here on this property for well over 150 years. This is a Centennial farm, meaning it's been passed down from father to son for all of those years. And we made a video yesterday talking about the amount of just amazing hay. Listen, my friends, out of the 2 cuts off this pasture, we've gotten 165 rolls. 165 rolls of hay off of this beautiful pasture here across from me. But I said at the end of my video yesterday that every cut we get, we know it could be our last. Because in fact, this property across the fence here is for sale. And I believe that the number 1 comment on that video that I read over and over and over again is why doesn't your family try to pitch in and buy that land? And in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I hope everyone knows how much we love this land and how blessed we are to have had it in our family for all of these years. And you have to also know that the piece of Morrow land that my mom and dad live on and actually own and allow all of us kids a place to live here is in fact not up for sale. But my Uncle Raleigh did pass away last year. Hey, what's wrong, Ziggy Bird? He's like, no one comes in my pasture without my approval. Okay, sir. But everyone knows that my Uncle Raleigh did pass away last year. And he's buried here in our Morrow family cemetery. That's the grave over there with the American flag. He was in fact a U.S. Marine. And everyone knows that once a Marine, always a Marine. And so he is buried here along with his parents, my grandparents, along with my mom and dad's, my mom's parents. Both of my grandparents are all buried here, along with our sweet Maggie. And then my sister Tina had a son who was stillborn. But what I'm trying to say is, ever since Uncle Raleigh passed away, the portion of his Morrow land, which is from my fence here over, it's been up in the air about what to do with it. The kids, my Uncle Raleigh's children, don't really have a desire to live here. And without getting into great detail, everyone knows, anyone who watches the channel knows, that there has been just a significant growth, a population boom, if you will, across the way. And our property is now, well, I'll say this, our property is the same now as it always has been. But the neighborhood is not. The neighborhood, the roads that we have to travel to get in and out of Plum Grove, the amount of crime, the condition of the roads, the lack of resources in the county, and so many other things that is because of the population boom across the street has made it to where it's very difficult to live here. And my Aunt Joanne, who is my Uncle Raleigh's wife, has decided to go ahead and leave the big house, the one she and Uncle Raleigh lived in for all those years, because it's a little bit too hard to navigate around, to traverse the stairs on a 3-story home. And she's decided to simplify her life a bit and move to a single wide mobile home that she can get in and out of a lot easier and move around better. But she still finds herself alone. And so she has talked to all the family members about her desires to more than likely move closer to her children here in her older years. I think that she's in her 80s, and that's what she wants to do. And so you cannot stop a person who's already that far up in age from wanting to be close to her family, her children, and her grandchildren. And so, in fact, that is what Aunt Joanne wants to do. This will be a nice place to sit and talk a little bit. Friends, so I want you to understand that there's no hard feelings and there's no animosity and there's no drama in this family. And it's not your place to start any. This is a family matter. And we would ask you to politely and respectfully keep it that way. I only say that because there have been people who have gone through back channels and tried to start drama where drama should not. Well, first of all, it's none of your business. I'm sharing a video with you because it's a story I would like to tell. It's a story that it's questions I'm trying to answer. But Joanne has decided to go ahead and sell this piece of property. And so she's talked to an agent. And because of the boom across the street, this property here along the road, the Plum Grove Road, is in fact selling at commercial prices. Commercial property, if you don't know, I'm just going to guess and say is probably 10 to 15 times more valuable than residential property. And so Joanne has asked over $1 million for this property, which I know you're all, probably your mouth just dropped. But friends, that is what commercial property is going for in this area. And so I will, number one, none of the Morrows, even as a collective, would ever have that kind of money. Isn't that beautiful? None of the Morrows would ever have that kind of money to buy 50 acres and pay over $1 million for it. That's unheard of. Secondly, the land here, it is prone to flooding. A lot of the reason that we got so much hay out of this, the last couple of cuts is because water did in fact cover this field twice. And so every time water covers this field, even though it doesn't do much for having a home or, property, as far as structures on your property or for your animals, it does wonders for your grass. And so the only value in this land to us, besides having a family and, a blood connection, is the fact that it's great for your hay crop. Before my Uncle Raleigh passed away, Joanne was trying to get a few dollars saved up to take care of a few medical bills and a few other things. And so I was able to negotiate with she and Uncle Raleigh, and I did buy 11 acres from them. Those 11 acres run from right there at the back fence of the sanctuary all across this pasture here in front of us, and it goes all the way back to the river. And so we're very blessed for that. Joanne and Uncle Raleigh at that time had no interest in selling anything else. After my Uncle Raleigh passed away, I did put an offer on the additional property here in the back, with my plan being to already have this piece of pasture here, and I would clear cut all of that and continue my pastures all the way back towards the river. But Aunt Joanne and I could not agree on a set price. I did make her a cash offer, and she turned it down. And so Jamie and I decided to go ahead and buy elsewhere. And that's when we would begin to look around, and we did end up buying the Longhorn Lester property, which gave us the pasture that we needed for our cows. And then eventually we also ended up buying the JL Ranch property, which at this point we are maxed out on property. We don't need any more property. I have a hurt in my heart to know that at some point all of this will belong to someone other than Amaro, when in fact it's been passed down, through all of those generations. But friends, I think that's kind of the cards that you've been dealt. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. There's no fingers to be pointed. There's no one to take blame. But it's just been a really amazing piece of property that I was able to grow up on. My dad grew up here, and my dad's dad grew up here. I was going to say we used to run these ridges, but whereas my dad may have ran the ridges, me and my boys have driven our four-wheelers across them. We don't run much anymore. But no, we know this land like the back of our hand. And so even though we're blessed that my dad will hold on to his land, and at some point he will pass it on to me and Daniel, his sons, and then at some point we'll pass it on to our sons, this piece of property here will in fact at some point be sold. And there's no guarantees what will happen to it then. If there is a bright spot, this property back here is in a floodplain, and you're never going to be able to finance anything here or even have it developed. It'll only be good for grazing or for maybe the timber value. But like I said, I've already made my offer based on those things, and Aunt Joanne declined that. I'm not upset with Aunt Joanne. She talked to the kids, and they feel like they can get more from somebody else. And so it is what it is. All right, well, listen, like I said, this was a video just to be informative and to kind of give you a direction of the way that we're going in the future. It's a way to answer a lot of the questions that have popped up in the earlier video about the hay crop and how blessed we are for the hay crop. Once again, this is, we always say stay in your lane. This is none of your affair. This is a situation between Aunt Joanne and Aunt Joanne only. And Aunt Joanne knows that if she ever decides to sell to one of us, then we've made a cash offer based on what the land is worth. Thank you guys for watching the video. And if you have any questions, ask them to us. Do not try to go around and try to find ways to ask Aunt Joanne or her children. That's not your place, and that's just darn right creepy. Thank you for watching.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.